Vasudeva, also known as Anakadundupi, Vismaya, Utpala Vilochana, his eyes being struck with wonder at the beautiful appearance of the Supreme Personality of God. Let him, Lord Hari, the Supreme Personality of God. Sutam as his son. Vilokya, observing. Anakadundubi, Vasudeva. Tada, at that time. Krishna Avatara Utsava, for a festival to be observed because of Krishna's appearance. Sambhrama, wishing to welcome the Lord with great respect. Asprishat, took advantage by distributing. Muda, with great jubilation. Dvijebhya, to the Brahmanas. Ayutam, 10,000. Apluta, overwhelmed. Surcharged. Gavam, cows. Translation: when Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has analyzed the wonder of Vasudeva upon seeing his extraordinary child. Vasudeva was shivering with wonder to see a newborn child decorated so nicely with valuable garments and gems. He could immediately understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had appeared, not as an ordinary child, but in his original, fully decorated, four-handed form. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear within the prison house of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were interned. Second, although the Lord, the Supreme Transcendence, is all-pervading, he had appeared from the womb of Devaki. The third point of wonder, therefore, was that a child could take birth from the womb so nicely decorated. Fourth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was Vasudeva's worshipful deity, yet he had taken birth as his son. For all these reasons, Vasudeva was transcendently jubilant, and he wanted to perform a festival as Kshatriyas do to celebrate the birth of a child. But because of his imprisonment, he was unable to do it externally, and therefore he performed the festival within his mind. This was just as good. If one cannot externally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can serve the Lord within one's mind, since the activities of the mind are as good as those of the other senses. This is called non-dual or absolute situation, Advaya Dhyan. People generally perform ritualistic ceremonies for the birth of a child. Why then should Vasudeva not have performed such a ceremony when the Supreme Lord appeared as his son? Translation again. When Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the brahmanas as a transcendental festival. Om again as you announce. Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurvalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vasudeva is shivering with wonder, Vismaya, transcendental ecstasy of being stunned, seeing something so extraordinary. And what could be more extraordinary than the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Vasudeva is going to make things clear that this is no ordinary child. As we know, there is so much misunderstanding about Krishna, especially in Bharat. Is he a mythological figure? Is he a material person? Who is Krishna? But when you study Bhagavad Gita, everything is clear. You can hear from Krishna himself. Who is Krishna? But the conclusion is, the confusion is, we do not approach through parampara. Knowledge is meaningless unless it's authorized. That may be hard for you to understand because people are inundated, overloaded with so much information these days. Studies have been done to show that as compared to people in the 1970s, when I was in my 20s, people today are receiving dozens of times more a load of information. So that means their bandwidth, their mental capacity is totally overloaded with everything unnecessary. Authorized knowledge means it comes through parampara. This is your protection. This is your thoroughfare for success. Look and see how the knowledge is coming from parampara, disciplic succession. Why? Because Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajasya vijnu. Knowledge of Krishna comes through the chain of spiritual master and disciple. This is how it's understood. And as you know, he tells Arjuna, Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hetarutama. You can understand this science through parampara coming to you because you're my devotee and you're my friend. So once you establish for yourself that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the next question is how to serve Krishna. Now Vasudeva is understanding this is Swayam Bhagavan. Later we'll find out that although the original personality of Godhead is appearing to Vasudeva, he's appearing with four hands, just so that there's no mistake in the mind of Vasudeva and Devaki that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared. Of course, you'll find out later that Devaki is concerned about this four-handed form because although she understands partially that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she can't help but be overwhelmed by fear. But that fear is not mundane fear. That fear is born of affection. In the spiritual world, all the emotions are present purely in relation to Krishna. They are not products. These emotions of the spiritual world are not products of the three modes of material nature. You might at first think that way. when you read in Nectar Devotion, or when you will soon read later this year in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the splendid BBG rendition. You read about various ecstasies, and you might think, oh, that's like happiness in the mode of goodness. And you may read various other emotions, like dejection, depression, and you think, well, that's like tamaguna, the mode of ignorance. But no, all these emotions are perfectly 100% pure. Krishna's associates are 100% pure, and their emotions and their relationships with Krishna are 100% pure. So Krishna is concerned. If I appear with 2 hands, Devaki might not think that I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She's so overwhelmed with fear of Kamsa, who's ready to kill the 8th born child. So she's concerned that Krishna has appeared with 4 hands. How am I going to hide a 4-handed baby? How will I explain that to anyone? That I have a child with 4 hands? It'd be very difficult to conceal. But Krishna is thinking, if I don't appear with 4 hands, she won't get over her fear of her situation with Kamsa. She'll think I'm an ordinary child. So therefore I have to appear with 4 hands. With conch, lotus, disc, and club. Vasudeva is offering his prayers. He understands. Although, as you hear in this verse, although he's Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's also Sutta. He's also my son. So he's got 2 components, Vasudeva. He has the component of awe and reverence, offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he also has the component of affection. This is my son. So Srila Prabhupada describes Vasudeva and Devaki as Mathura devotees, city devotees, nearing the Braj platform, but not quite there, because they have knowledge of Aishvarya, knowledge of Krishna's opulences. Whereas the pure Brajvasis, they only think of Krishna as their lover, their son, their friend. They don't think of him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's all. So how is Vasudeva wanting to celebrate the appearance of Hari and Sutta? He has nothing. All his possessions, his properties, have been confiscated by Kamsa. He's in a prison. What can he do? Where's his wealth? He can't even take a bath before giving charity, which is the part of the ritual in giving charity. Yet he has his mind. And in his mind, he constructs the gift of thousands of cows given to brahmanas in charity. He does that with his mind to glorify the appearance of his son, Krishna, whom he knows is also Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Prabhupada concludes the purport for today's verse, people generally perform ritualistic ceremonies for the birth of a child. Yes? How many here have done that? Raise your hand. So why shouldn't Vasudeva do it? But you say he's in prison. He's got nothing. No wealth. Where are the brahmanas? He's in a prison cell. So Prabhupada concludes, why then should Vasudeva not have performed such a ceremony when the Supreme Lord appeared as his son? You say, well, what do you mean, why not? He has nothing. He's in a prison cell. But he has his mind. This shows you the power of why Krishna says twice in Bhagavad Gita, Mamana Bhavavat Bhakta. Always think of me, become my devotee. The whole apparatus, the whole structure, the whole system of bhakti is to help us to think of Krishna. So what's wrong with Vasudeva giving cows to brahmanas in his mind? You might think that's a very fragile, very faint, very weak way to serve Krishna. But, as you'll learn, Krishna has the gross material energy, he has the subtle material energy. It all belongs to him. You can serve Krishna in this way, or you can serve Krishna in that way, with this energy or with that energy. Krishna doesn't make the distinction. Of course, your mind, to offer charity in your mind and have the Lord accept it, your mind has to be very strongly Krishna saturated. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhakti. You can offer me a leaf, water, flower, fruit. If it's given with bhakti, I'll accept it. So Krishna is watching the bhakti, not whether this is an offering of gross matter or subtle matter. Everything belongs to Krishna. So he can equally accept an offering in the mind or in the gross material energy. Just like when Lord Chaitanya was in Kuliya, as described in the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kuliya is present-day Navadvip. So, one devotee, Nrsingananda Brahmachari, heard that Lord Chaitanya is going to Vrindavan. So he decided to construct a road. In his mind and offer it to Lord Chaitanya. First he made a broad road, and then he covered the road with jewels. On top of the jewels, he put a layer of stemless flowers. On each side of the road, he made ponds, lakes of water that was like nectar. And these lakes are described as divya, divine. And on the banks of all the lakes were houses, bathhouses made of jewels. And then pleasant breezes were always blowing, bringing the aroma of flowers that were everywhere by the mental arrangement of Nrsingananda Brahmachari. And birds were chirping, making the most melodious sounds. This was his offering of bhakti. This is the Nrsingananda Brahmachari serving Gauranga in his mind. He was actually making an offering in that way. Just like you see the pujaris making offerings to the deities here. The Nrsingananda Brahmachari was doing the best he could. Let me construct in my mind a road for Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan. So you might say, this is all fantasy. Is it a real road, or is it just a mental construct? So you might think a mental construct is something very weak, it disappears very quickly. But no, his bhakti is strong enough that he can construct a road in his mind and offer it to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu accepts it. But what happened? How many of you have read of this in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Raise your hands. How many remember it after reading it? Mind is not strong. He could not, Nrsingananda Brahmachari could not get the road to go past Kanai Natashala. He couldn't get it past that place. Kanai Natashala. He thought, what's this? I can't make the road go any further than this place. The road that I built in my mind started in Kuliya, but it doesn't go past Kanai Nakashava. Then he understood. And he told his associates with complete assurance, with 100% assurance, Gauranga will not go to Vrindavan. I can't get the road past Kanai Natashala. That means he's going to turn back. He's not going all the way to Vrindavan this time. And sure enough, that's what happened. Mahaprabhu was surrounded by thousands of persons. They were accompanying him. Can you imagine trying to go somewhere being surrounded by thousands upon thousands of persons? And wherever he would step, people would come and dig up the road underneath his feet. They wanted the dirt, to worship the dirt. How was Mahaprabhu going to get to Vrindavan in this way? So as you may recall, when Lord Chaitanya arrived in Ramakeli, the town where Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were there as Dabir, Kas, and Shakar and Malika. When he got there, after delivering Rupa and Sanatana, Sanatana told him, you know, usually people don't go to Braj on pilgrimage with thousands of people surrounding them. And of course, Lord Chaitanya apparently didn't listen to him and started on his way after dealing with Rupa and Sanatana. But later he thought, Sanatana's right. Let me go back to Jagannath Puri. So in this way, the Sringananda Brahmachari's offering in the mind couldn't get past a certain point because Lord Chaitanya was not going to go past that point. So whether we're talking about Vasudeva and his offering with his mind, thousands of cows to Brahmanas, or we're talking about Nisringananda Brahmachari constructing a road in his mind, the point is that Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. From within the heart, he takes the best of your attitude in bhakti and accepts that. Whether the offering is made with the gross material energy, the subtle material energy of the mind, Krishna is looking for the bhakti. He's free to accept anything in any kind of way if there's bhakti. So Vasudeva did the best he could. And both Vasudeva and the Sringananda Brahmachari are showing that for pure devotional service, there's no impediment. Somehow or other, service to Krishna can go on. Vasudeva's in a prison cell. How can he serve? But he has his mind. So this is a lesson teaching us the scope and power of pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. Ahoitukiya pratiyata. It can't be interrupted by any kind of circumstance or impediment. Somehow or other, the service to Krishna will go on. So Vasudeva is shivering with wonder. And you heard it in the purport. 4 paradoxes that occupied his thoughts while he's shivering with wonder. This is my worshipable deity, but yet he has appeared as my son. Not only has he appeared as my son, but he's appeared with full hair and decorated with jewels. Who is born like that? Anyone here? Were you born like that? And not only that, but he's appeared in the prison cell of Kamsa. And then he's all-pervading, yet he has appeared from the womb of Devaki. Now what about this appearance from the womb of Devaki? Why should you be surprised? But don't think that Krishna was the product of some kind of biological combination of sperm and ovum, and the embryo developed as it would in the case of an ordinary child. No, he appears first from the heart of Vasudeva. He then transfers himself to the heart of Devaki, and then appears outside Devaki. Krishna is not the product of some kind of secretions. So Vasudeva is astonished. He knows this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing as my son. He's not surprised that Krishna can suddenly appear like he's coming from the womb of Devaki. He's everywhere. Where did Nrsingadeva appear from? The pillar. Where did Vamanadeva appear from? Varaha, excuse me. Thought you had missed that one. Where did Varaha appear from? So why can't Krishna appear like he's coming from the womb? He's not a product of male-female biological interaction. What about Kapila Dev? Where did he appear from? The semen of Gardama Muni. So whether nostril, whether pillar, whether womb, whether semina, Krishna's everywhere. Once you accept that point, then you're on your way to becoming a truly liberated soul. Janma karma chame divyam. Evam yogiti tattvata. Tattva dehum panayam. Naiti mam eti soarjuna. So you as an individual have to come face to face with this issue. Is Krishna an ordinary person? Is he mythological? Who is he? Is he one God amongst many gods? Even in Bharat, there's so much confusion. In the West, of course, they have very little pre-knowledge of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that's the only good thing about the West. They're blank slates when it comes to Krishna. Whereas what happens in India, what do they say? I'm knowing Krishna. And they know nothing. It's always some distortion generally. So Prabhupada said this is the one advantage of his Western disciples. They have no preconceptions. They're blank slates, and he can just write on it. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas when he came back to India, especially in 1976, 77, to focus more on India, all the time, guests, big VIPs would come see him, and they all had this yatomat tatopat. Whatever path, it leads to the same, whatever the same is. So that misunderstanding is there. Whether you're a Jnana yogi, focusing on consciousness, or mystic yogi, focusing on Paramatma, or an impersonalist focused on Brahman, it's all the same. How is it all the same? From one point of view, it is all the same, because everything is Krishna. But you can't forget the other side. There are differences. Impersonalism is very monotonous, no variety. But think about it. Without variety, variegatedness, devotional service has no meaning. You don't want a monotonous existence. You want that there's variety in the relationships, variety of tastes, variety of pleasures, varieties of relationships. Without variety, devotional service has no meaning. So the main thrust of Nectar Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is to present to you the varieties of ecstatic love in serving Krishna in different relationships. So yes, it's true. Krishna is Brahman. Krishna is Paramatma. Krishna is consciousness. It's all true. But that's only part of the understanding. Lord Kapila Dev gives a very wonderful example in the third canto of Bhagavatam. He uses milk as the example, or the acharyas use milk as an example, commenting on this verse. That you can be experiencing the same object, but depending on the sense that you use to appreciate, to perceive that object, you get a different reality. So you're looking at this one object, it's oneness, but depending on the sense that you use to perceive that oneness, you get a different understanding. You get a different perception. So the example given by the acharyas, and it's further elaborated upon by Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Who has read the BDT Laghu Bhagavatamrita? One. Is it available in the bookstore? Laghu Bhagavatamrita is the handbook of the avatars. It explains so many details about the avatars. And it also goes into the mystery of, does Krishna actually leave Vrindavan? And it also goes into the mystery of, how did Krishna take birth from Devaki and Vasudha? How did Krishna take birth from Yashoda and Devaki simultaneously? It's a confidential mystery. You see glimpses of that in the Bhagavatam purports. But in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami goes deeper into it while saying this is actually confidential. It's like someone telling you, don't tell anyone, but I want to tell you a secret. And of course you tell everyone, right? So milk, how do you understand what is milk? Who knows? You can look at it. What do you see? When you look at milk, what do you see? White. Your eyes are getting that particular perception. When you smell it, it has a very nice fragrance. So when you use your nose, you get another perspective. And you can use your ears. Someone can tell you, this is milk. Whatever language they're using, they explain, this is milk. So you interact with the milk through your ears. And of course, you can touch it. Maybe it's cold, maybe it's warm, depending on the situation. So each sense gives you a particular realization, a particular experience. But Rupa Goswami explains that the mind is the central gathering point of all sensory inputs. It's the central station, you might say. The central warehouse. All the inputs of the various senses go into the mind. So therefore, Rupa Goswami says, with the mind, you get the full experience of all the senses. Similarly, with bhakti, you get the full experience of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada goes at it a slightly different way in his purport. He says the best way to experience milk is with the tongue. You taste it. Similarly, the best way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is through bhakti, devotional service. So it's a very thought-provoking example given by Lord Kapila Dev and expanded upon by Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So this is, because otherwise people say, well, it depends. Any way you approach, you get the same result. It's all the same. It is all the same Krishna, whether Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. But what is the most full understanding, the full experience? If you rely on understanding milk by your nose, by smelling it, you get an accurate perception, but it's not the full impact of the milk experience. If you want the full impact of the milk experience, you use your tongue. Similarly, if you want to understand Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, you must use bhakti. But if you use mystic yoga, you'll get Paramatma realization. If you use Jnana Yoga, you'll understand consciousness, supreme consciousness, and you'll probably think that you are the supreme consciousness. If you use an impersonal approach, you'll understand Brahman. All that is correct, but limited, partial, incomplete. And the mistake in that limited correctness, the mistake is in thinking Paramatma is the ultimate realization, Brahman is the ultimate realization, consciousness is the ultimate realization. That's the mistake. So it's just like someone could think, looking at milk, the whiteness of milk, that is the ultimate realization. Or the tactile, the touch sensation of milk. I touched the milk, it was very cool. That's it. There's nothing beyond that. There's nothing beyond that perception. So this is the example given by Lord Kapila, commented upon by the Acharyas, and especially by Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Vasudeva knows this is Swayam Bhagavan. And what is Krishna thinking? I have to appear with 4 hands to dispel their fear. Vasudeva and Devaki are overwhelmed with fear. I don't want my devotees to be fearful. I want them to immediately understand I'm Hari, not just Sutta. But confidentially, Krishna's thinking, when am I going to go to Vrindavan? He wants the pure Vatsalya Prem of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. So Vasudeva and Devaki, as you know, never had the chance to raise Krishna as their child. Sometimes it's said by the Acharyas, Devaki got to nurse Krishna once before Vasudeva took him away to Braj. In any case, the conclusion is that Vasudeva and Devaki didn't get a chance to experience Krishna's childhood pastimes. That's why Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are considered more intimate devotees. What happened upon the death of Kamsa? How did Kamsa die? Krishna killed him. But Kamsa was such a brute. He was as big as a mountain. Do you understand? So there could be some doubt that Krishna actually killed him. It was such an unprecedented, unbelievable, inconceivable event. So Krishna knows just what to do to strengthen the faith of his devotees. He took the dead body of Kamsa, as big as a mountain, and dragged it around the wrestling arena. Do you see? Do you see? He's dead. Have no doubt about it. And of course, Krishna had to deal with the sons of Kamsa attacking. He and Balaram took care of them very easily. So then, the wives of Kamsa, the wives of Kamsa's sons, they're all crying and lamenting. But they could understand, Kamsa, you really did some horrible things, and this is the result. Krishna, after killing Kamsa and killing the sons of Kamsa, then helped to arrange the funeral ceremony. What do you think about that? Someone kills your husband, kills your sons, and then says, may I arrange the funeral ceremony? Krishna, the Acharyas are saying, actually was feeling compassion. He was actually feeling Transcendental sorrow. Oh, these poor ladies, they don't have a husband anymore. What can be done? So, Krishna deals with the widows. He consoles them. And he's also taken the dead body of Kamsa, remember, big as a mountain, and dragged it to the bank of the Yamuna to be burned. Kamsa's body is so big that as Krishna is dragging it from the wrestling arena to the bank of the Yamuna, a channel, a canal is formed that water can flow from the Yamuna. Because that's how huge Kamsa's body was. So when Krishna is pulling the body is creating a deep channel in the ground, connecting to the Yamuna River. Now Krishna is going to deal with Vasudeva and Devaki, how to release them from their imprisonment. He approaches them. He and Balaram approach Vasudeva and Devaki. What is the reaction of Vasudeva and Devaki? They've seen Krishna kill Kamsa. They've heard about it. They know it. They're stunned. They're just standing there. They can't relate to Krishna as their son. What to do? Should they treat him as if he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Hari? That means they would offer obeisances. How do you do that to your son? So they didn't know what to do. Are we dealing with Hari? Are we dealing with Sutta? Their minds were blown. They had seen, you just killed Kamsa, big as a mountain. So they were not able to reciprocate in Vatsalya prema and parental love. And that's what Krishna wanted. So what to do? With the help of Yogamaya, Krishna arouses their Vatsalya prema, brings them back to that understanding. Oh Amba, oh Tata, oh Mother, oh Father. You could not enjoy our childhood pastimes. That is part of the bliss of household life, the childhood pastimes of the children. You couldn't relish that. We couldn't give that to you. Every child is so indebted to the parents. We could not pay that debt because of fear of Kamsa. Krishna's saying like that just to make the response of Vasudeva and Devaki more human-like. Fear of Kamsa disrupted our ability to please you as children. So Krishna is speaking such loving words in a parental relationship that the hearts of Vasudeva and Devaki start softening and moving more towards the side of Sutta. He's our son. And they start crying, and they pick Krishna up. They also pick Balaram up. But the Acharyas say, giving more attention to Krishna because he's Swayam Bhagavan. They put Krishna and Balaram on their laps, cover them with tears. So Krishna had to produce all that because Vasudeva and Devaki were stunned. We have seen him kill Kamsa. Is this really our son? But Krishna wants to be loved as their son. So he has to reinvigorate their parental rasa. Oh Amba, oh Tata, oh Mother, oh Father. And he speaks such words. How can a child ever pay the debt to the parents? We're so sorry. We could not offer you our childhood years. He tugs at their hearts, we would say. He tugs at their hearts, and they soon snap out of just being astonished by having seen Krishna kill Kamsa. So these are part of the Leelas of Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna wants the pure love. He's going to Braj so that there's no more of this Aishvarya-dominated love, this opulence-dominated love and awe and reverence. I was hearing one lecture from Srila Prabhupada where he explained about Yashoda and Krishna. Krishna wants someone to chase him with a stick. Everyone's offering him prayers. He wants to be chastised. So Yashoda's the one. She can chase after him, grab his arm, and have a stick in her other hand. Krishna wants that. Who's going to show a stick to me? All I get is awe and reverence prayers. I want a mother who chastises me. Not only that, but Srila Prabhupada explained in that same talk, Krishna wants to be refused by Srimati Radharani. He wants her girlfriends to say to him, no, she's angry at you, she doesn't want to see you. And Krishna will plead, please let me see her. No, you can't see her. So Prabhupada explained, Krishna wants to be refused by the gopis. He likes that. He likes going begging, please let me see her. I'll be good. No, can't see her, you rascal. You've been cheating on her. He wants that. So Prabhupada ends the lecture by saying, that is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Any questions?
So, Maharaji, I had two questions related to this verse.
Try one.
So basically, in the verse today, Vasudev ji donated 10,000 cows in his mind. So one can say that, I'll donate my wealth, land, property in my mind, and the physical ones I'll give it by myself. So
how is that bhakti? You're trying to cheat Krishna. Krishna's in your heart. He knows. Just like he's in the heart of Vasudev, he knows this is the best that Vasudev can do. He's making an extraordinary sacrifice in his circumstances. But Krishna knows you're offering me something in your weak and polluted mind. Meanwhile, you're holding back on so many other things. Bhakti means with love. How is that love when you're being so conniving? Krishna's not a dummy. Oh, this Prabhu is offering me something in his mind, some money in his mind, while in his bank account he's got millions. This is the problem when you think Krishna is an ordinary person. And we don't understand the depths of bhakti as experienced by Nrsingananda Brahmachari, by Vasudeva, making an offering that Krishna accepts, making an offering in their mind. Anything else? Yes. Speak up, please.
I think someone once asked me, so the symptoms of ecstasy which we read or we hear pure devotees exhibit, or sometimes Sri Chaitanya, or not sometimes, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also exhibited, like in Ratha Yatra, or when he fell in the sea. Someone asked me, well, that doesn't sound like fun. Like it sounds very painful, like in the pastime of Mahaprabhu falling in the sea, the body is it's in one sense it appears like the joints are separated and everything. What is the best response for that?
That requires, to answer that question or to understand the answer, requires transcendental knowledge of Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's associates, Krishna's abode. To your mundane perception, it looks like suffering. as I was explaining just a few days ago in Mayapur, well, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Sanatana Goswami explains in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that the happiness of Ayodhya stands on the head of the happiness of Vaikuntha. Got that? And the happiness of Dwarka stands on the head of the happiness of Ayodhya. Got that? The distress of Braj stands on the heads of all the other happinesses. Now, I'll try to understand that. It's a type of ecstasy. I was discussing, I went to Yavat, where Rishabhanu has his home. I went there with Govinda, B.B. Govinda Maharaj, just a few days ago. And he was talking about Jatila. How Jatila is always, this is the home of Jatila Abhimanyu, correction, in Yavat. And so, Jatila is always interfering with Radharani trying to be with Krishna. But Jiva Goswami explains in one commentary in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which you'll be able to read later this year. He explains that Jatila is acting out of ecstatic love for Krishna. She's thinking she's protecting Krishna's welfare, and therefore she's always offering impediments. It's part of her ecstatic love for Krishna. Not only in one particular case, but Jiva Goswami points out in all cases where Jatila is causing a problem, apparently, it's out of ecstatic love for Krishna. Let me protect his reputation. So it's not like she just has no loving ecstasy. So how are you going to understand that? You study Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and there you'll find the example of the ice cube. You know the ice cube example? What happens if I take an ice cube and press it against your arm? What do you feel?
Cold.
No! You feel a burning sensation. But how is it that a burning sensation comes from an ice cube? Similarly, it looks like suffering in Krishna Leela, but actually it's ecstasy. Just like an ice cube, when first pressed to your skin, you get a burning sensation. So Sanatana Goswami explains that all the greatest devotees, they aspire for this so-called pain of separation. And of course, Krishna himself wants to experience it. He can't do it as Krishna, but he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me taste what is this love and separation. Yes. Thank you for the nice question.
Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. Maharaj, you had mentioned about Manasa Seva and how it gives the equal benefit to doing physical seva. So my question,
If someone is on that proper platform.
yes. So Maharaj, my question is, can Manasa Seva become imagination if not done with proper guidance and devotion?
Anything can become imagination without proper guidance. You're walking by the kitchen one day, and someone comes out with a pizza. What do you say? Huh? You say, Krishna's arrangement! It may be, if you're such an elevated devotee, that Krishna knows she's passing by the kitchen, be there, or it may not be. We need guidance how to serve Krishna best. That's why Rupa Goswami says, Adal Gurvashraya. In the beginning, first take shelter of the Guru. Then you can understand, is this service favorable or unfavorable? Kamsa was also Krishna conscious, but unfavorably. The 8th child of Devaki will kill me. I must kill that child, but the child can't be killed. The 8th child will kill me. I must kill the child, but the child can't be killed. But his Krishna consciousness was unfavorable. Still, Narada Muni says in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, oh, if I could only love Krishna with the intensity that the demons hated him or were fearful of him. So you can learn even from Kamsa how to intensely be Krishna conscious. He was seeing Krishna everywhere out of intense fear. I have to kill him, but he can't be killed. What do I do? But the spiritual master guides us in how to serve Krishna favorably. And how not to just have some mental concoction and say, Krishna will enjoy this. Suppose I say, I will come to your house and the footpath outside your house, I know what I'll do to please you. I will paint the footpath in front of your house purple. That will please you. I know it, I'm sure of it. What would you say? But I think that. You're shaking your head, but I think that. I think it's a great idea to paint the footpath in front of your house purple. It's a beautiful color. You'll be famous throughout the world. You'll be so satisfied. You say no. But that's what we do to Krishna. Let me give this to Krishna. He'll be so satisfied. We need guidance from those who are more expert in serving Krishna. Otherwise, we're just making a mental concoction. How is that love? Suppose in the future, many years from now, when you marry, and your husband says, I know just what to do to make you happy. Paint all the windows in the house purple. You'll be so happy. You'll appreciate me so much. Your parents will really think I'm wonderful. I won't have any mother-in-law problems. They'll say, wait a minute now. This is not why I married you. The point is that love requires sensitivity. Sensitivity means to take into account the desires of the beloved. Now, if someone says to you, what is it that you desire? Then, oh, you're a very caring person. So the spiritual master teaches, what is it that Krishna desires? Krishna says, surrender to me. Krishna, as Lord Chaitanya says, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. He's especially stressing Bhagavad Gita. Jai Krishna Tattva Se Guru. So he's Krishna coming as Mahaprabhu to show you how to surrender to Krishna. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna? Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned about the glories of devotion of Brajavasis and Krishna's love for it. So, in our practice of regulated devotional service and deity worship, how are we developing the devotion that Brajavasis have?
When you worship Tulsi Devi, what are you singing? You ever pay attention to what you're singing? When you give Bhagavatam class, what do you sing before you give Bhagavatam class? You pay attention to that? So what more do you want? Start with that. Be conscious of that. And then Krishna will gradually take you deeper and deeper. What are you doing when you distribute books? What's the ultimate depth of book distribution? Nikunjayono ratikele siddhaya, yayali bir yukti apekshaniya. That's the ultimate depth as certified by Srila Prabhupada. Just like the gopis are making tasteful arrangements for Radha and Krishna to meet, similarly the Sankirtan devotee is making tasteful arrangements for conditioned souls to reunite with Krishna. So think about that while you're distributing books. That's the ultimate depth of the Sankirtan movement. Arranging that Krishna's lost parts and parcels reunite with him. Just like the gopis are arranging for Radha and Krishna to meet in the groves of Vrindavan. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, you mentioned about impersonalism is monotonous. That there is no variety in that. I was checking the dictionaries. One of the meaning of the monotonous is repetitious. And I was just thinking that in our devotional practice or a regular sadhana, it's very repetition. Like 16 out has to be there.
Very what?
Like repetition is there. Just a kind of monotonous. Like how can I experience that?
Monotonous.
Well, one of the meaning in the dictionary for monotonous is repetition. So
Same old, same thing over and over again. But how is chanting Hare Krishna the same old, same thing? When you chant Hare Krishna, you should be understanding, here is Radha, here is Krishna. Let me engage in their service. How is that monotonous? Now, in our contaminated state in the beginning, we might think such a thing. Oh, gotta chant my rounds today. Otherwise everyone thinks I'm not a good devotee. There'll be social pressure, criticism. Hare Krishna. That's neophyte consciousness. First of all, we're glad that someone is chanting. But then there must be the increase in the quality. What do you do at home if your wife thinks, you just say the same old thing every day? What do you do? I can appreciate it's a mystery. Hey, another example.
you advise me to go out.
Huh?
Your advice wants me to go out if something like this happens.
Anyway. What do they mean when they say, give me quality time? They want to taste some variegatedness. They have the hope. So it's very unfortunate in our neophyte state to think that the Hare Krishna mantra is monotonous. Same old, same thing every day. What does Rupa Goswami say? I wish I had thousands of tongues. One tongue is not enough. Thousands of ears. One set of ears is not enough. There's so much nectar in the holy name of Krishna. But then Mahaprabhu says, he's taking the part of a conditioned soul. I'm so unfortunate. I have no attraction, no raga for the holy name of Krishna. That is our problem. How do you work on that problem? By every day trying to chant with attention. It's a lifetime career. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.